notice of this meeting was posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. The time is now 6:31. Due to this being a special call meeting, the agenda is a little bit different. We will begin with public comment. Before we begin public comment, I want to remind you that the board encourages comments about the district from members of the public. Anyone who has signed up to speak in advance of the meeting in accordance with the board procedures may do so at this time. The board asks that each participant's comments pertain to district business and be no longer than 5 minutes. And again, because this is a special meeting, according to board policy, BED local, public comment at special meetings shall be limited to items on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting, which means that your public comments can only pertain to the academic calendar, as that is the only item that is on the agenda tonight. Beginning our public comment. Beginning our public comment this evening is Courtney Wilson. As we observe public comment this evening, Mrs. Elliott is going to keep time. She will notify you when you have 1 minute left, and the alarm will go off at your 5 minutes.
Flip the switch.
Good evening. Adding 15 days or 4 to 5 hours of instruction over the course of the school year could cost us what? Retention and recruitment of our staff. Our calendar is the biggest strength that I have as a campus administrator for these purposes. We attract staff to drive through other districts to work here, even with some of the lowest pay because of our 4-day work week. They have the advantage of having time to plan, grade, etc. for classes, time to take care of their personal needs or their children's appointments, because as educators, we all know we get the guilt whenever we take off or miss a day of instruction and the work that comes with it. Some may think, but who will actually leave, and if they choose, let them. Y'all, this is our staff. This is who pours into our kids, builds their passion, and honestly, these organizations and the hearts of our teachers is why our kids come to school every day in the first place. They prepare them for life after high school, not just the academics. They drive a lot of our results. Lots of instructional time for athletes due to extracurricular, such as sporting or competitions that take place on Fridays, or the loss of instructional time with the teachers and coaches that will now be out due to these events, plus paying for the subs to have to cover their classes or the transportation costs that come with that as well. When we voted for a 4-day week, we took Fridays instead of Mondays for that specific reason. We run attendance recovery and small group interventions on Fridays now, and this allows our students and our staff the opportunity on Friday to get these needs in while still being able to enjoy a weekend versus working 6 days a year, although most of us know educators work 7 days. What about our students that need to work for their families? What happens by adding that 5th day back? If it comes down to work or school, what are they going to choose? Let's think our accountability. At the high school, we have STAR academics and academic growth, CCMR and graduation rates. 60% of our high school accountability comes from a combination of CCMR and graduation rates. We already battle dropouts. What happens next? And for what? To see the success that our neighboring district has seen over the last 5 years under guidance? To be micromanaged by those who may or may not understand the direct needs of our district and our community. We can play a game that has rules that can be manipulated. A game that's finish line keeps getting moved further and further back. I've seen some of the possible checklists that could be coming, state-mandated security updates, some of the mandated curriculum, and how does it impact our student pride or our staff morale at the end of the day? And if pride and morale tank, what do we think happens to academic accountability next? I've served a campus that we continue to hear about being labeled as failing, all while they've seen growth over the last few years. There's a penalty cap that came into play from the state, therefore not allowing the campus to earn what it mathematically earned, instead forcing it to stay in F. A coincidence, maybe. As a district, we've been seeing growth. The data Dr. Talton presents monthly shows the growth that we're working towards. This is the best we have ever been under his leadership, and continue to move in the right direction. Do we know there's more growth needed? Absolutely. Am I standing up here to question or argue that point? Not at all. It doesn't happen overnight though. It takes hard work day in and day out with our staff and students, all of which have been putting forth the effort and have us heading in the right direction. So why come in now? Why make a change now? That could be detrimental to our morale and our forward momentum. We have the right people in the right places. Let us continue to show improvement like we know we can. At the end of the day, my decision to stand up here and speak may not be popular with the state. But I didn't become a teacher for that reason, and I certainly didn't get into administration for that. I'm in education to try and make a difference for my hometown, the one I proudly represented from kindergarten through 12th grade, the one I chose to come back and serve, the one my own kids now attend, and a district I will continue to believe is worth fighting for.
Ms. Robinson. Next we have Stacy Ferguson.
You were up here with your phone and now I have all these papers. So thank you, Dr. Tolton. If I'd known this, I'd have just picked one up this afternoon, but that's okay. So I did a search that anybody else could want to know about Cold Spring, Texas. And I am here to offer some data, sort of summarized from Dr. Tolton's paper. And I'm also here to pose some questions for TEA. So, sir?
Reminder, your comment has to be about the school calendar.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is. So, 22-23, high school 55, CIS 59, junior high just an F. Then 23-24 come along and we implemented our 4-day week. Slightly longer classes for instruction. We did this so our attendance would go up for students and staff. We did this to offer Fridays for enrichment, games, practices, makeups, lesson plans, grading, doctor's appointments, or maybe just to catch up on life. And 24-25 comes along and our accountability, high school, 75 of 20 points. Coldspring Intermediate, 74 of 15 points. Lincoln Junior High, from an unknown number to a 60. Now, are these great? No. But are the systems in place that are working? Yes, they are. Is our academic calendar of a 4-day week one of those systems and pieces of those pie, or a piece of the pie? Yes, it is. Our district, the 23 years I've been here, we have felt like we have perpetually started over about 3 years. Every 3 years. New people, new places, new things, new systems, new ideas. We start over. We start from scratch. We get momentum. Then something gets knocked down. We start over. We go back. New places, new people, new things. And we start over from scratch. And I think it's hurt our accountability all these years. I'm one of those that really don't fix it if it's not broke, please. And so a question. How can dictating a calendar change, which is yet another do-over, implemented here, change our already promising improvements? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. Moving on to Martha Baker. Ms. Baker? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to basically agree with what Courtney has said and what Stacy has said. And I have one other thing. Think of the cost to the district that's going to be imposed by having more transportation costs, more air conditioning costs. The cost of doing school will go up by having a 5-day calendar. It's working. It's not the fastest in the world, but you can't take education fast most of the time. You have to go at the children's rate. So that was my comments.
Thank you, Mrs. Baker. Moving on to Courtney Bailes.
I just want to approach y'all tonight and tell you thank you, and I am proud of all of you. You have a hard decision to make. But I was most proud last meeting when we walked out these doors and you guys were given a threat and you took a stand. You were told that there was going to be consequences with a 4-day calendar, and you unanimously took a vote knowing that those consequences were coming. And guys, the Philistines are here and it's time to be a David. An approach that I'm on the academic planning committee, the calendar committee. On October 7th, the committee unanimously passed, I'm gonna call it a big, beautiful calendar that we were excited about. 4-day weeks, it looked really, really similar. I started this year, we didn't even have a new teacher orientation, thanks to a wonderful administration and an awesome calendar. At James Street Elementary, I wasn't meeting one new teacher. That has never happened in the almost 20 years that I've worked here. So on October 7th, we met, passed a calendar, we were elated, looked great. Things didn't seem to work out. Had another meeting February 10th. Passed another calendar. 4-day week. Didn't get an email about it. Didn't see it in a staff text message. March 17th. Unanimously passed another 4-day calendar. You guys moved to approve it. Thank you. Last week, April 9th, presented with 2 more additional calendars of 165 days. The committee meets and it's like, which one do you guys like? And it's like, well, we like the one that the board approved. So I just want to come to you tonight saying, as a committee, we met. We agreed on the 4-day calendar. It has been presented to us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different calendars. And again, we've all gone back to the calendar that works for us. We're fighting an army that hasn't been defeated. They have resources, they have threats, and guys, we're not armored. All we have is our pride. We have what Coldspring stands for, and we can walk out of these doors with our head held high and voting for what's right in our hearts and go to sleep at night knowing they're coming. They're here. Or we can have some smooth stones and try to take out the giant. But if we don't try, if we don't fight, where is our pride in that? So I'm just asking for consideration of what's working for us and to help us defeat the giants that have no interest in seeing us grow, no interest in seeing us do well, no interest in staff, the students, or the community. Their interest is power, and their interest is failure, and their interest is pushing an agenda for the state of Texas. So we can make decisions here, close by, or we can let those far away make those decisions for us without the outcomes that we desire.
Moving on to David Taylor.
Thank you. My name is David Taylor. Most of y'all know me. I'm gonna cut through the introduction so I can make sure I make a point. I'm not here trying to be repetitious of what everybody said, but I think if it's being said over and over again, maybe it'll get a point across. I'm from here. I graduated from here. I live here. My family lives here. My mom and dad live here. This is Cold Spring. My daughter goes to school here. My little boy will start school here. We're from here. My wife's been a teacher here for over 10 years. I was in that school, I was an ag teacher for 10 years myself. 2 years at Shepherd, right down the road, 8 years at Splendora. I've seen small schools similar to Cold Spring. I've seen larger schools like Splendora. I know how it goes. I also know that when you go away from a 4-day week to a 5-day week, you're gonna change the schedule up. I've seen all kinds of schedules. I've seen A days and B days. I've seen times where you have 45-minute class period and you see the kids every day. The schedule that we have now, where we have longer class periods and we see those kids every day as a teacher, is more important than seeing them Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday and Thursday. It's more important that you get more to them and you build a better relationship with that student, seeing them every single day. We're a small community. We're not Houston. We're not Austin. We're not Dallas. We're not Shepherd. We're Cold Spring. What other schools do, I do not care about. This is where I lay my roots, is in Cold Spring, and will continue to. I don't know why that we're even having this conversation. This schedule keeps better teachers. We've already had 3 people come up and tell you in the administrative level that have been here more than 20 years telling y'all, this is how we get good teachers. This is how we get good teachers. How are we going to get our grades higher if we don't have good teachers? The good teachers that we have now, most of them, like my wife and the other ladies that spoke tonight, they live here as well. They're from here. They want to be here. And what are we going to do? Run them off because somebody from TEA says, oh, that's what we got to do? Absolutely ridiculous that we're even having this. Kids work on Fridays right here in our community. Go to Little Lee's Crawfish on a Friday. Go to Cold Spring Farm and Ranch on a Friday. See those high school kids that are in there working on Friday, trying to make something of themselves and support their families. They need the time to work. This blue line curriculum that y'all are pushing that has to do with the 165 versus 149-day week, I'm going to tell you, y'all implemented it last year. Probably the worst thing that we've done. And if that's what it takes to continue this, is to keep it 165 to stay with Blue Bonnet, it don't work. It's not beneficial to my kid or I see of any other kid. We also took away, when we went to the 4-day week, we took away 3 local days from our teachers. Vacation time, paid vacation time. Took away 3 days that they sacrificed to give up to be a 4-day week, to spend time with their families and do other work and go to other contests and do everything that teachers do. Are we gonna give them their other 3 days back if we go to the 165? I think we should, without a doubt. But if you have teachers willing to sacrifice 3 of their vacation days for a 4-day week, I don't know how you argue that point. If we're already maintaining the commitment that we're making with TEA about the minutes and the time that we have to spend at school, and we're going over and we're doing what the state's requiring us to do in 4 days.
You have 1 minute.
What do we have to do to require that? Kids miss more school on Fridays for games, contests. So if kids are here on Fridays during the school to make their minutes and they're missing for games, FFA contests, and athletic events, how are we extending their school and their educational time? We're a school board. And I think most of y'all are very fine people. I know most of you personally, but I'm going to leave you with this. Why do we have a school board if we're going to let them come in and do whatever they want to do anyway? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Next, we have Ernest Bailes.
As I stand here this evening, I look each of you in the eye. I see dread and I see apprehension. You don't want to be put in a situation, including Dr. Talty. Nobody does. We're not here to talk about the local level of the school administration. We're here to talk about the state level of how we got here and why we're here. Let me tell you a little story about Shepherd ISD right down the road that has been an absolute failure from TA taking over. Susan Bailes, the school board chairman, president, when they took that school district over. They went to Austin, they sat in the room, Commissioner Morath, after they waited for a little while, he came in, unzipped his little notebook. It's all right, guys, why are we here? They spoke their piece. He stood up, he zipped his notebook up, and he said, I will take that under advisement. Within a week, they were taken over. TA does not care about this district whatsoever. When I served in the legislature, I can tell you I've been put in this exact same situation. You have a choice. You do what in your gut, in your heart, you know is right, or you tuck your tail and you be bullied and you let them impact how you live your life. I've personally been threatened by the governor. I've been threatened by the FBI sitting at my kitchen table for speaking out before. And I wouldn't change any of it. This community and this district matters. And that is why I'm here, and that's why you guys are here. A lot of different things we can look at. You look at vouchers. You look at legislation that limited the need for the 5-day week. When they actually wrote that bill, Commissioner Morath's electronic signature is at the bottom of that bill. Was not released to the body until there was an emergency vote on the floor, though it had been drafted and approved 3 days before that. We had the direct conversation with Commissioner Morath. If we are willing to put exact time frame in place by the number of minutes that our kids have to be in the classroom, we're willing to give that same money in form of a voucher to anyone in a private school or homeschool setting. If 165-day calendar is so important, why was there zero willingness whatsoever to say it's important for anyone else that's not in public schools? Because the kids in public schools don't matter. That is plainly stated time and time again, direct from our governor on down. TA is not here for our kids. They cared nothing about helping this. They came in, opportune time, after most of the work had already been done, after our administration and our administrators had done the work. They need a feather in the cap. If the numbers show that you guys are going to improve, it's better for them to come in and be part of that and say, hey, we came in, we helped them. But you know that's not the case. I want to go back to a little story. There's a fellow called Moses. You guys ever heard of him? And I'm not talking about the most important Moses. I'm not talking about the one who took the same 10 commandments that we now have to hang in our classrooms and explain to our first graders what those 10 commandments mean. I'm talking about a fellow who was at the Alamo. We always talk about the Alamo. We don't forget those that stood up when times were tough and they said, come and take it. There was a line drawn in the sand. There's a fellow by the name of Moses Green. Anybody know that legend of that story? He's the one that deserved it. So right now, this is our Alamo. Our kids in the state of Texas right now, Coldspring-Oakhurst CISD, this is our Alamo. We have to stand up and care. We have to stand against TA because they don't care. We cannot be that Moses Green. We have to be the ones that took a stand for better or worse because it was the right thing to do. Not for politics, not to be the one that hunts for anybody who wants to. You can't speak out of both sides of your mouth. You have to take a stand, you have to do it, and not back down because our kids matter. I appreciate what you guys are going to do, and I know that when you guys vote, you will vote on something you can hang your head up high. And you see every person in this community later on and know you did the right thing. Thank you for your time.
Moving on to national show.
Good evening. I don't have mine. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Talton, Coldspring. Since everybody else is giving a rundown of their resume, I'll give mine as well. Graduate K through 12, parents, graduate K through 12 of Coldspring as well. My 3 kiddos are here, so, served as an administrator here in the district, served as high school counselor for many of the young adults in the classroom, in the room, and I also served as a Board of Trustee here with these fine, great fellows in front of me. I come before you tonight, Board, not to fight, but to inform, encourage, and advise just a little bit. For everybody in the room, I want everyone to know that it is not our board that we have to convince here. They piloted this program. A couple of years ago, this courageous, bold board decided to do a pilot program for a 4-day week. It was a pilot. They put it out as a pilot. We all knew that it might not last forever. So shout out to the administrators, shout out to the board for taking on that courageous step. The results are beginning to show here. Our district has moved from a 57% when we got this administration and this board in place to 69%, as you will see in your package. We sit as the 7th district surrounding us out of 11. So we have climbed momentum, tremendously since we've had this 4-day calendar in place. We know that. We all know that. Our kiddos go to school here. That represents real kids growing, real students showing up, real teachers coming to school, and real leadership making decisions. But as we just heard, public education is under attack. Mr. Bailes gave it to us in the best form of fashion. And right here, this is not where we fight TEA. That's up at the polls, okay? This is directly targeting our students. And since my profession is to talk about risk, I owe you a due diligence to tell you about the risk you are faced with tonight. Under the Texas Education Code, under 39.8003, you all received 2 directives. I requested those directives in the Public Information Act, so your attorney sent them to me. I did receive the directive. Your board received a directive from TEA under the Texas Education Code under 39.008. In that code, it states that that TEA can place a conservator in your district if a campus has been failing for 4 years in a row. Lincoln Junior High has been failing for 4 years in a row, unfortunately. However, we all have known this. They have been very transparent. When I sat on this board in 2021, 2022, I was aware. When TEA appoints a conservator, they can take over a district. We can lose local control. Let me tell you what that means. These 7 elected board members that we elect, we have some candidates in the classroom that in the room that we're excited about electing. If TEA deems that this board is non-compliant, they can overthrow it. I just want to let you know the risk here, okay? If we overthrow this board, that is not us electing members. That is us getting members appointed. That is not our board who we elect hiring a superintendent. That is the commissioner appointing them. We might not have a voice in who sits up there. We might lose this battle for 15 days. There are many, many other battles to come. Many battles to come. And all of us would like a voice in that battle. Our voice is when we get to go down to that county and vote for our local officials. and we know how important that is. So, just want to give you the risk of what we're talking about right now. I got to sit on this board when we did the 4-day pilot, so please believe that I am for it. However, I have to look at you and say, as a prior colleague of yours, I would rather have those 15 days than to lose you sitting in front of me. I would rather have those 15 days than lose local control over everything that we get to decide here in this district. We do not know what those people will come to do. I know that Shepherd fought. I know that Fort Worth fought. Beaumont ISD fought. Just on Friday, Northeast ISD was appointed a conservator simply because the board did not do the cell phone policy. This is not just us. This is exactly what Mr. Bailes said. This is the state level trying to overthrow public education in order for us to lose control. But we definitely trust you and support the decision that you made.
That completes our public comment. Thank you for sharing. Moving on to new business, item A, discussion and possible action, if any, to rescind the board action from March 23, 2026, adopting a 150-day instructional calendar for the 2026-2027 school year. So I'll have a motion and a second, and then I'll have discussion on that motion before we vote on whether to rescind the action. So can I have that motion?
I'll make the motion so we have a discussion.
Okay, I have a motion. Does he need to state that more clearly, or is that adequate? Okay, I need a second to that motion. I have a second from Ms. Coker. Do I have any discussion about the motion to rescind the board action?
I can make some comments. You might want to hand me a microphone. Just probably better if it doesn't. I can definitely say that none of us were looking forward to tonight. Not been a meeting that any of us wanted to look forward to. None of us wanted to be faced with this decision. But before I talk about what we're deciding tonight, I just want to kind of recap a couple of things. Just kind of run back through a little bit of the chronology of the 4-day calendar and some of the pressure from it. It didn't just happen over the last couple months. I think it probably started when we got the scores for the junior high. We had to submit a turnaround plan for it, and it was thinly veiled as far as, say, your turnaround plan probably is not going to get approved unless y'all are doing a 165-day calendar. At the time, we agreed to consider it. And we did. We looked at it, passed on it. The turnaround plan got approved. Then I think next it was the grants. Hey, we just happen to be looking at your grants right now, but we notice you don't have a 165-day calendar approved. Probably not gonna get prioritized for these grants without that calendar. So, well, we didn't do it then either. Kind of curious how at the same time we're submitting our data for our TIA, and now it doesn't get validated while we're pushing back. Kind of curious. So then it goes on to our district renovation status. That gets dropped. That gets pulled. Well, we appeal that, and lo and behold, hey, if y'all want to do that, then you're probably going to have to do a 165-day calendar. Everything seems to roll back to that. I kind of point those out because it's obvious that the state has all kind of buttons, levers, tactics to force you to do things that you don't want to do. Hey, this is what we want. Kind of like it was pointed out, we meet the state requirements. We meet the law when it comes to minutes. That's not the issue. After our last board meeting, when we approved the 4-day calendar, ended up on a conference call with TEA. And of course, it was more of the same. It was, y'all need to rescind what you did and approve a 165-day calendar. And at one point in the conversation, one of the personnel from TEA said, I'm sure y'all are wondering what's going to happen if you don't. Well, let me tell you. If you don't, then we'll report back to the commissioner because he is anxious to hear this go through. And then it'll be up to him. He can do anything from issue you another directive to replace the board. So it's not hard to figure out, what they're wanting and what their threat is. Curious side note, in that same conversation, Garrett Black from the TEA just wanted to make us aware that this was just incremental. They understand that with our current calendar, 150 days, that going to what they want, which he said, we'll do it by steps. We do the 165 now, and then we'll go to the 180. And our end goal is a year-round calendar with 200 instructional days. That's what your state wants. So this is just one little step in the path. So back to the decision tonight. It boils down to if we follow what's working for our district, follow what our community wants, then we definitely risk the state rolling in here, taking us over before the scores even come out. If they do that, they'll obviously replace the board, most likely replace Dr. Dalton because he hadn't been playing ball. He's not snapping to. And whoever else in the district that they don't believe fits. If we go to 160, adopt this other calendar, go to that 165 days, that could buy some time. Our scores come out, preliminary scores in June, July. Possibly, scores come out where we expect them to. Does that give us the leverage to get the conservator out of here, get TEA out of the district? It's possible. That's kind of the carrot dangling out there. Well, if we do the 165 days, then we get a little better ground to fight from with better scores. And it's a tough choice. It truly is. I had several people ask me over the past couple of weeks, said, how did this happen? How did the state able to come in and do these things? And like Ms. Ashley pointed out, it's in the statute. Legislature has, over several years, passed the laws that make it possible. But it really boils down to just the voters allowing it to happen. We've allowed it to happen. It reminds me of that appoint from World War II. First they came. So when they came for Shepherd, there wasn't a lot of outreach here. So when they came for Beaumont, there wasn't any outreach here. It's all localized. We're upset because it's here. But there's probably nobody here from Goodrich or Onalaska or New Waverly because it's not affecting you. Until it affects all of us as a whole, we can't change anything. So I can honestly tell you, I'm still torn. I really don't know what to do at this point, but I'll shut up for now.
As most of you know, I look around this room and I see a lot of faces in here that I've known for a long, long time. A lot of you I respect. And to be put in this position is very, very, very difficult. And there's a lot of times and even times I want to sit down and go, how'd we get here? What do we do? Now, as you have all spoken, listened, applauded, a 4-day calendar works for us. It works for our community, it works for our teachers, and it's definitely working for our students. The morale around the campuses has improved. We've all seen improvement from the children because almost every face in here deals with them almost every day. Multiples of them. Me being one of them. I mean, our work students around this district use them on the weekends. I mean, half of you are my kinfolk. But to have somebody tell me what I'm gonna do for the benefit of our children, I can't take it. I won't take it.
Get mad at y'all. I would like to say that nobody on this board wants to get 4 days. I hope y'all understand that. There's a person you talk to right over there.
The greatest challenge that we face is that you are using common sense and logic in a situation where that's not what wins. And so, please understand that. If that won, that would be wonderful, but this world is not fair. And that's the unfortunate reality, is this world is not fair. And sometimes, when you do what is right, you are punished even greater until the balances are set. And the challenge in front of everyone here is, are we willing to decide to force the district to most likely pay a penalty that is even heavier while we do what's right in our hearts and wait for the balance to reset? Because the unfortunate truth is, we can choose a 165-day calendar, but if they replace us, they can tell that board, you know, actually they would benefit more from a 175-day calendar. They can tell that board, you know, actually, we need to increase this funding, fix the taxes to pay for that. And it happens. And so, while some of these decisions may seem as simple as just do what's right in your gut, you may not feel the same when what's right starts costing you until the balances are set.
Y'all need to hear it from my attorney.
You want to make a statement, Mr. Haglund?
Well, I have advised the board, and let me back up and say I am deeply invested.
We're going to hand you the microphone. Sorry.
I've never had a problem getting hurt.
Well, that's pretty far away.
I said I'm deeply invested in this district. I've been privileged to be your lawyer for almost 40 years. And it matters to me what happens in this district. I don't like anything at all about what's happening here. Representative Bailes and Ms. Shelley, told you the truth. And I got one more surprise for you. You folks elected the people who did this to you.
Thank you.
Okay? You are substantially responsible for what's going on in Austin. I've practiced school law for more than 50 years. And for the last 30, there's been a tangible effort in Austin, in the legislature, and in the governor's office to destroy public education. Why? Because it saves a lot of money for their rich donors. Okay? That's why there aren't any rules, like Mr. Bailes said, for the money that the charter kids get. They don't have any calendar days. They don't have any curriculum requirements. They just get the money. And where does the money come from? The money that would have been spent on public schools. Get the big picture.
Okay, if there's no further comment, we do need to vote on item A, discussion of possible action, if any, to rescind the board action from March 23rd, 2026, adopting a 150-day instructional calendar. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of rescinding the board action? Okay. All opposed? Move on to make a statement. I'll have a month left, so you can run me off anyway, I don't care. I came in prepared to vote to rescind this, but it is more important to me that if we're going to go down, we're going to go down together. So that means item B is not necessary, correct? Okay.
Are you sure? Okay. Promise I would not gatekeep William.
So as you know, there is a possibility. We're sitting right here. We back you. Let them make their move. They don't know what's best for our children. We do. Y'all elected us to make that decision. That's why we're sitting up here making it. So whatever you take back to TEA, Ms. Garza, I'm not gonna hide it any talk. Whatever you want to take back to TEA. This is what our community wants. This is what our community voted for us to do. This is still our school district. These buildings belong to these people in this room. We manage what happens in them. And we're watching the growth. And so if you're going to take anything back to TEA, take the data. Let them review it. Let them look at it. Let them see how much growth we're actually making. Don't hide it into a grading system. Put it out there. 100% is 100%. That is what we're looking at. That is our data point. We like a 4-day week. It's worked really well around here for the community. the teachers, the kids, and they grow. And you're right, we do. We have great teachers. We have a lot of teachers that invest a lot of time into all of these students. But there's not a school district in this state that is identical. 100%. There's not 2 students in this school district that learn the same. The difference is the teachers that can individualize those and make them enjoy learning a lesson and making a better life. And that is the whole point of being any kind of educator, whether it's public, private, or homeschool. It doesn't make any difference. If you're not in it for the child, you have no business being in education.
Okay, no further business? Right? This meeting is adjourned. The time is now 7:22.